My name is Mark Allen. I'm the mayor of Cibolo, Texas. And so we're here to discuss an important topic, the upcoming local propositions that the City Council has placed on the ballot, including the Animal Services Facility, which is the new animal shelter, the Public Safety Facility, which will be a combination of Fire Station number 4. Right now we have 3 fire stations in Cibolo, and the third one is our most recent one. We just built that within the past couple of years. And then it'll also include a police substation, because right now we just have one police station. It's right here to the east of us. And so this will be a substation that we'll be able to have some police officers at, and vehicles and things like that to be able to respond to emergencies on the south side of Cibolo. And then also the public safety tax increase. We appreciate you taking the time to be here today to learn about these proposals and look forward to a productive session. And so just to give you a quick rundown on where we're at with the property taxes right now, we are at 4,699. And so we have been at this rate for quite a while. Back in the year 2018, I was first elected to city government as a councilman for District 5. And in my very first year serving as councilman for the city of Cibolo, I was participating in a vote on the budget. So it was summer of 2019, and the council adopted the budget, which included a 1-cent property tax increase. And so Councilman Joel Hicks and I were the only 2 that voted against that 1-cent property tax increase. So needless to say, him and I were outvoted 5-2. And so the tax rate did go up 1 penny back in the year 2019. And then in 2020, we had another election. Some different council members were elected, and then we decided to roll back that penny. And so we went right back to 4,699. And that is where our tax rate has stayed ever since 2020. So here we are in the year 2024, and we've been proud to say that we've kept our property tax rate low all these years, all this time. And so by doing so, it has caused some challenges for the city staff and their ability to service our citizens. So the reason for the election. The need for the election arises from Senate Bill 2, passed in 2019, and other state laws that have removed property tax collection from certain residents who are exempt from local property tax. Senate Bill 2 legislation limits the growth in municipal property tax revenue for maintenance and operations to just 3.5% from the previous year. Notably, this calculation excludes revenue from new properties on the tax roll. With high inflation in recent years, this cap has made it increasingly challenging for cities to manage rising costs, to maintain service levels, and ensure adequate compensation for our workforce. Additionally, the state has exempted veterans who are 100% disabled from local property taxes. While we support our veterans, we have asked the state to step up and fund the lost revenue, which it has refused to do, even with a more than $32 billion surplus. Today, the tax exemption by the state represents 1 in 4 homes in the city limits and reduces our revenue by $3 million per year. If the state funded this shortfall, City Council would not be asking residents to approve a tax increase to cover the compensation increase for our police and fire professionals. And so just to speak from the heart and tell you a little bit more about what I'm trying to say here. So many years ago, I don't remember the exact year, but many years ago, the state of Texas adopted a policy. They issued a mandate whereby all 100% disabled veterans would pay exactly $0 in city property taxes, county property taxes, and school district property taxes. And so we 100% support our veterans, and we 100% agree with the state of Texas that our veterans should be exempted from paying property taxes as a way to honor our veterans for their service to our country. And so during the most recent, so what that means is 25% of our citizens receive that benefit and pays no money in property taxes. So if you have a room with 4 Cibolo citizens in it, it's highly likely that one of those 4 citizens receives that benefit. And so I'm not going to ask everybody to raise their hands here today to show me who's 100% disabled, but we honor our veterans and we want them to continue to receive that benefit. However, the state of Texas issued this mandate, and it was an unfunded mandate, meaning that the state of Texas issued the mandate and provided $0 to reimburse the cities, the counties, the school districts that are issuing this tax rate exempt or property tax exemption, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that the state has a $32 billion surplus right now, and it was estimated that the cost to reimburse all of the cities, because Cibolo isn't the only city that's dealing with this shortfall, the cost to reimburse all cities throughout the great state of Texas would be about $200 million. And they currently have $32 billion sitting on the sidelines. And so that $200 million, it sounds like a lot of money, doesn't it? But that $200 million is just a tiny fraction of the $32 billion that they have sitting in a bank account on the sidelines, which they're not using for anything right now because they really didn't do much during the 2019 legislative session. And so there was a bill introduced by State Rep Hugh Shine out of Temple, Texas, over in Belton. And so State Rep Shine introduced House Bill 1613. And what House Bill 1613 would have done, it would have reimbursed cities for the lost property tax revenue. And so right now there's a stipulation. And so some cities do get some amount of money back for the property taxes that they're losing, notably Schertz. We're all familiar with our sister city Schertz, right? And so Schertz gets a check for about $800,000 every year. However, they're losing about $3 million. And the only reason why Schertz is able to get a check for $800,000 is because they share a border with Randolph Air Force Base. And so the way that the law works, or the policy out of Austin works, is that if you share a border with a military installation, then you are eligible to receive some reimbursement. Cibolo does not share a border with Randolph Air Force Base. However, we have the highest concentration by population of 100% disabled veterans throughout the great state of Texas. And so House Bill 1613 made it to the floor for a vote in 2019. We have about 150 state reps in Austin, and about 130 state reps voted yes to House Bill 1613, which would have reimbursed Cibolo and all these other cities, and about 20 voted no. And then the bill was moved up to the Senate. So after it passes the House, then it goes to the Senate. And once it made it to the Senate, it went to committee. And it was tabled in committee and never made it to the Senate floor for a vote. And so that was a major problem as far as I'm concerned, because that represents $3 million that we're losing out. We could fix a lot of roads with $3 million. In fact, it represents about 11 cents on our tax rate. So instead of coming to you today asking for 3 more cents, well, theoretically, we could drop our tax rate by 8 cents if we were able to be fully reimbursed by the state of Texas, whom issued this mandate. And so that's where we're at today. I just wanted to give you some background on how we got into this situation. And I do also want to reiterate that I, as the mayor, and our city leadership and our city council, we 100% value our veterans that served. And so we want them to continue to keep their tax exemption. We just want the state of Texas to fund the exemption that they provided. And so I'm going to pass the mic on over to, let's see, Mr. Reed for the community needs.
And so the slide right here, which it was represented by some of the material in the room, shows you what the additional tax rate increase will fund. And you can have confidence that should the voters approve Proposition C, that these revenues will go to those 79 sworn and uniformed positions in police and fire. And how do you know that we will spend that money? Their paychecks will increase accordingly to get them to market. That is where the money will go. So this is for the Fire department, it'll cost us roughly $390,000. And for the police, roughly $365,000. For the positions that you see in the left-hand column, you can see how many officers we have, sergeants, lieutenants. And you can see for firefighters, FAOs are really the drivers of our fire trucks, so just think of them as firefighters with an additional skill, and of course our lieutenants. And we also have battalion chiefs that lead the fire department as well. What I want to talk to you about is Cibolo's growing. I don't think anybody in this room is unaware of that. The city has been very proactive to manage the growth that we continue to experience because we're part of a great metropolitan area, Military USA, the San Antonio area. It's great to live in this area because businesses are investing in new facilities and are providing good paying jobs that the city is competing with other cities to attract. We're in competition with our surrounding cities in this region to attract these companies that want to invest hundreds of millions of dollars to bring these high paying jobs. And so it's important for the city to maintain quality service levels and to have top talent, particularly in our fire and police department, so that we maintain a safe community for all of us and our businesses. This economic development and associated population growth, which right here shows that since 2000 and the 2020 census, we had a tenfold increase in population. And in a short 4 years since, we're 12-fold increase since 2000. And that's shown right there on the left-hand side of this screen. And you can see since 2000, our land area, that's what's incorporated inside the city limits. That's what our police officers have to respond to because it's inside of our city limits, and of course our fire department as well. And the entire city staff were responsible for servicing the 20 square miles. And you can see we've been doing our best to make this an attractive community for business investment. And you can see on the right-hand side the increase in businesses in our community. And I hope all of you agree that the more restaurants that open, we're spending our discretionary dollars in Cibolo more today than we were just even 4 short years ago. And so the City Council is being very proactive. It's adopted a strategic plan that promotes its vision. And the vision of our City Council is Cibolo is a community proud of our historic roots, responsive to residents, and innovating for the future. And it does it through 6 core strategies. Every year it updates its strategic plan, and in that plan are actions. Actions that account for more than 150 specific things that staff is responsible for executing on. And every year I bring back to the City Council their strategic plan and I give them an annual report. Because if we say something's important, if economic development is important, if infrastructure is important, if community partnerships is important, if fiscal stewardship is important, I want council to see when they identify the actions in cooperation and in communication with the staff during its annual budget process, that we execute on its plan. And so I'm proud to say that in those annual reports and in each strategic plan, council has gone from being the way that it used to govern to being very intentional and proactive. And I hope that you all recognize just in road projects that you've seen an uptick in the amount of roads that we're touching in the past 3 years. We've improved 31 lane miles in just the last 3 years, starting with Cibolo Valley Drive and all the roads that we've improved since. And in 2025, that's the fiscal year we're in now, we'll touch another more than 5 lane miles of roads. And you can find out more about that as you walk around the room. And we're doing that within budget. So we built a track record. And this table over here will show you our CIP projects, but we have a track record of when we give council a figure of what a project will be, we're delivering them on time for the most part. We have one project, Takerville Road, that one's behind schedule, but we've completed our projects on time, and I'm very proud to say on budget. Equally important, when council issues debt over the last 3 years, issues new debt, we are starting those projects within 12 months. We are not letting city money, once we receive debt, sit around for extended periods of time. I think it's important for me to share that with you, because that's the way the City Council has governed over the last 3 years. It is committed to continue to do that, and should the voters authorize propositions A and B, you should have confidence that we used architects and engineers to design the facilities, particularly the public safety facility, which you'll hear more about later, and the animal services facility. They're giving us probable cost estimates, including inflation, so that we can deliver these facilities in the funds that the voters approve. We will issue the debt. Construction will start within 12 months. We will manage inspections and schedules to deliver those projects to you, our residents.